Coming up on the Pioneer Sideline, All-American. Find out which cross-country runner became the first Pioneer in Point Park history to take home this honor.
Slam dunk. The men's basketball team racked up a big win at home over Thanksgiving break. We have all the details and a look at the team's upcoming conference play.
And which team will win the college football championship? We'll debate that and more coming up. It's time to come on down to the Pioneer Sideline.
Good evening and welcome to the Pioneer Sideline. I'm Josh Krupp.
And I'm Sarah Maculin. The Saturday before we left for break, the top runners from the Point Park men's and women's cross-country teams hit the road, traveling to Vancouver, Washington for the NAIA National Championships.
And one of those runners was named an All-American. Our cross-country and track insider Nick Kosiski joins us now in studio for more. Nick, thank you so much for joining us. First of All-American, who was it? I think we all know.
Anna Shields.
Oh, yeah. Anna Shields, an impressive performance at Nationals. How did she do?
Oh, Anna Shields did amazing, and actually the whole team did really good. We had a lot of big PRs on the men's side, Desmond Merrill, Chris Hunt, Xavier Stevens, and then on the women's side, Kylie Archibek, all those PRs. I heard it was a really nice course. It was flat, and it was fast, and it was like mid-50s, so pretty nice temperature for running. But Anna Shields just, really did a great job, and it was a privilege for me to watch her run all throughout the season, and she just gets better every time.
And was this something she was striving for, being that you're her teammate going into the championship and nationals 2 weekends ago? Was she really looking to place where she did, or was she expecting to do better?
Oh, I think All-American was, the goal right from the beginning, and I think just, getting that status is a huge achievement, and I'm sure she is just thrilled.
And I talked to Anna over the weekend, and she's like, "Yeah, I was happy with All-American, but I wanted to win. I was in it to win it, and good for her." Now we look over to the men's side of the race, right? Xavier Stevens leading the way for the men. What has he meant to this team this year?
Xavier Stevens was he was the guy who he was very consistent all season. He was someone that we could always count on. He got better throughout the meets, and he actually finally got into 26s, which was a really big deal. So that was a big achievement for him. I know that he was so excited because he's actually my roommate. So he came home and he was like, "Dude, I did it," and I'm like, "Yeah, man, it was a good time." But
so we had a successful cross-country season, I'd say, for both teams. Now we kind of have to turn the page to the track season. Can you give us a little inside scoop on what we can expect?
Oh, yeah. I think that we're looking pretty strong coming into track, and it's actually going to be really cool because we're going to have our first indoor conferences for track. We never had an indoor conference before. So that's coming up. That's going to be at Tiffin. And there's actually a meet coming up this week, December 1st, on Friday at YSU. So first meet of the season, and people can qualify for nationals at this meet. So I'm sure everyone's going to be trying to bring their A game.
Yeah, I was going to mention that. Unlike cross country, where you have to wait for the conference meet, you can qualify from day one.
Yep.
Give me some names of people you think can qualify on day one for nationals, and if not, maybe at the first meet in the meets to come.
Well, someone to look out for is definitely Dry Davis. He is known for qualifying early, and he gets stronger as the years go on. Anna Shields is another one to watch out for. And Xavier Stevens, I know that he really wants that 800, so hopefully we'll be seeing him at nationals.
An indoor season, Anna gets to run the mile. It's her favorite.
Oh, yeah.
So she's definitely looking forward to that. Thank you very much, Nick. We really appreciate it.
When we come back, find out how the men's and women's basketball teams fared over the Thanksgiving break.
And what's ahead for their season as both teams are set to open up conference play this week. All that and more after the break.
Why should you watch and focus?
Because why not?
Turn. Why should you watch and focus?
Because I produce it.
Welcome to In Focus.
Hello. This is so we don't run out of time.
Put up a goal just
Right.
because it.
In a little bit closer, please. Let me bring this in. I wanted to do a game. So game time. All right, game over.
Yay.
Oh, wow. Did we get that?
There he is. Why are you watching Focus? Why are you watching Focus? Because In Focus is great.
Chris! Game time! Game time!
It's not game time. It's a promo.
Start your morning with us. I'm your host, Jess Paterchek.
And I'm your host, Alex Groves.
Good morning and welcome to another episode
That is what
of
happened at the
Daybreak. I'm your
Cathedral
host,
on Monday.
WPXI.
The state wants to
This is
take
Monday.
$357 million out of a trust fund that is typically
wintry mix stuff could get me.
I'm gonna care for you, you.
What up?
The diva himself. Only on Daybreak.
55% of all U.S. multiracial adults have been subjected to racial slurs or jokes.
Where were you born? Being smart, pale, for a Filipino, to go back to Mexico.
There goes that black boy over there. You like fried chicken because you're light skinned. You are a cop. You think that you're better than us. The N-word.
They're good at jumping or climbing. Border hopper, made taco, English your second language. Where's your green card?
Cut the jokes, stop the stereotypes.
Welcome back to the Pioneer Sideline. Now, the men's basketball team got off to a slow start at 2-5, but that 2, it broke a 5-game losing streak on Wednesday night against Washington Adventist.
Our reporter Megan Mastiosi joins us in studio to talk how the men can begin to turn things around. Thanks for joining us, Megan.
Thank you.
So that's exactly what we're going to start off with. They got off to a slow start, but they had a big win last Wednesday. So how can they kick things off with that win?
Well, definitely what helped them out was they cleaned up defensively because against Miami, Fort Kent, and Buffalo State, they had many turnovers. They also were very bad at three-pointers, so the defense was just very weak. And when they went into that game on Wednesday, they came out hot, they started hot, they had a 10-point lead at halftime, and their defense was incredible. They only had 10 turnovers.
The defense was surely a strong point, and it's something that we've been missing. We've also been missing a strong start. Point Park got off to a great start in that first half against Adventist. They did eventually catch up, but then Point Park was able to break away. Moving forward, you say getting off to a good start is the key for this team?
Definitely, especially headed into conference play, which they believe are headed into this week. Getting off to a hot start is good for them. They've had a couple of players really come up. They had, Gavin Garoppolo, he's always good for 20 points a game. So getting him rolling off the bat and along with the rest of the team is definitely helping them.
So they have a game tomorrow night. It's the first conference play. How do you expect the men to do, and what do they need to improve on in those couple losses in order to start conference play off right?
Well, first of all, they need to find a way to win on the road because they didn't do well with that. I know it's at home, but they've split the last 2 years with Rio Grande. So they win them at home and they lose on the road. So definitely going in, getting another win would be great for them. And like I said, cleaning it up defensively that's their biggest weakness right now is the defense.
And if you're looking at one thing overall, one common theme for this team moving forward to improve, what are you looking at?
Consistency, especially from your senior players. They definitely need to step up a little bit more. It's Fusini
Konate. Yeah.
Thank you. Him and Gavin, they really need to step up, take this team over control. So more consistency from them and the rest of them, like Michael Connors, will definitely move this team forward.
And I'll tell you, it was fun watching Fusini Konate put up 15 rebounds, career high. He said, Coach told me to get 20, so I was 5 short. It was a career high, but the man was great.
He's close.
So that was phenomenal. Thank you so much, Megan. We'll look forward to this team for conference play. Wednesday night, Rio Grande, Saturday night, West Virginia Tech. The highlights next week on the Pioneer Sideline.
Yes, and now we're switching gears to the women's basketball team, who are off to a strong start at 5-2 and will open up Wednesday after 9 days off.
An opposite story of the men's team. The women open up conference play Wednesday night in a doubleheader before the men's game against Rio Grande. Allison Schubert joins us now to talk about this women's team. And Allison, the team went into Thanksgiving break on a high note, didn't they?
Yes, they did. They ended up with 2 wins in the tip-off tournament at Penn State Beaver, and they ended up pulling out a 69-48 win in the first game and then 72-66 in the second game. So pretty strong wins for the team.
So what are some key players that need to not only step up, I mean, they've been playing really well, but carry this team this season and be those key players that they look to get 15 points a game?
Well, Sam Weir we need to talk about, because Sam was off to kind of a slow start after coming back in this season. And then that second game this weekend, 2 weekends ago, she had 15 points, which is a season high for her. So she's going to be carrying this team in points. Tyra James had 14 points in that second game. Kiana Daly off the bench in the first game had 14 points. And then you're having a lot of different players end up in double digits.
And it's a really deep team that we've talked about before. And Sam nursing an injury at the beginning of the year, slow start, like you said. Great to see her back. Tyra, you never know what you're going to get. She loves shooting the 3-ball, and that can be a strength for Point Park, because you make 5 threes a game. If you're Tyra James, you have a good chance to win. But moving into Rio Grande, this is a team that has given Point Park problems in the past. This is a team that is off to an insane start. What can we expect from Rio Grande on Wednesday?
Well, we have one common opponent right now, and that's Georgetown College. Point Park beat them 72-68 when we played them, which was the first game at CCAC Allegheny of the season. And Rio just played them, and they won 77-76, so a very close game. And I think it's going to be a pretty good game between Point Park and Rio Grande. Rio's 8-1 so far in the season, but those are all non-conference games. Conference play is a lot different, so I think it's going to be a really good game.
Now, the story for Point Park so far has been their defense. They've been playing great defense. Bailey Buleka is all over the boards. So could that be a difference maker in the game on Wednesday?
Absolutely. If you don't have good defense, then you can't have a strong offense, because if you're not keeping the ball, you can't do anything with it. So I think that, especially Bailey Buleka getting those big rebounds. Sam Weir had 8 rebounds, so I think that defense is absolutely key.
Another thing we're looking at going into Wednesday, Point Park's had a 9-day break now. They will going into tomorrow. 8 days since they've played, as of today, Tuesday, 9 days tomorrow. Rio Grande got a lot of time over Thanksgiving. Not Point Park, but as a basketball player, both of you former basketball players in high school, how does that break affect your mindset going into a game after taking such a long stretch off? And is that going to be an advantage for Rio Grande?
Now, Point Park has been practicing almost every day, but we talked about this earlier. A practice mindset is completely different from a game mindset. So you can come back a little bit rusty from big breaks like this, and Point Park might do that, but we haven't really seen this team obviously adapt to a break this big. So I think if they've been putting in the work in practice, that they could just come out as strong as they have been.
Yeah, it's definitely everything about that mindset coming in. You practice how you play. Everyone says it,
yeah.
So that's what they need to implement.
Well, Tony Grenick certainly practices. He runs a hard practice, and if they play how they practice, then things should be all good for the women's basketball team. Thank you very much, Allison. Coming up next, we'll take a look at how the Steelers and Penguins have fared so far this season.
And what's going on nationally in the sports world. All that and more when we come back.
If I was you, I'd wanna be me too. I'd wanna be me too. I'd wanna be me too. If I was you, I'd wanna be me too. I'd wanna be me too. I'd wanna be me too. If I was you, I'd wanna be me too. I'd wanna be me too.
Spending just 7 minutes climbing stairs each day cuts your risk of a heart attack in half over 10 years. Sure, elevators are convenient, but you burn twice the number of calories just going upstairs than you do while jogging. Think about how long you spend waiting for elevators. The average person spends the equivalent of 2 years waiting for elevators over the course of their lifetime. Don't let that be you. Save time and increase energy. Next time, take the stairs.
I tell these guys all the time to stick to talking sports and not playing sports.
Here we go. Ready? Didn't make it. Welcome back to the Pioneer Sideline. The Penguins are coming off a big win at home against the Eastern Conference leading Tampa Bay Lightning.
Yes, and Delaney Baumus has the rundown on what's going on in Pittsburgh sports. Delaney?
It was a big weekend for Pittsburgh sports. The Penguins were at home against the Tampa Bay Lightning on Saturday, and the Steelers were also home against the Green Bay Packers for Sunday Night Football. So let's start with the Penguins. Sidney Crosby and Phil Kessel each scored twice to help beat the Lightning 5-2. Crosby scored both of his goals in 5-on-3 situations. Kessel scored once in the first period and once again in the second period. He ended the game with 4 total points, 2 goals, and 2 assists. Goalie Tristan Jarry made 33 saves on the night for his first NHL win. This win was big for the Penguins because it was the back half of a back-to-back games, which the Penguins have not been doing so well on this season. Kessel said, quote, "We needed that win for tonight. We needed to find our footing here and get a couple wins going. Tonight was a good start," unquote. Now let's go across town for Sunday Night Football. The Pittsburgh Steelers hosted the Green Bay Packers on Sunday night, looking to go 9-2 on the season. Although it wasn't pretty, the Steelers did manage to get a last-second win against Green Bay. Chris Boswell was the hero of the game with his career-best 53-yard field goal to win it all. While the field goal was Boswell's longest, it was only tied for the longest field goal in Heinz Field history. Although, like I mentioned, it wasn't the cleanest game the Steelers have had, they did have some pretty nice plays, including some great catches by Antonio Brown. Brown had an amazing sideline catch which had everyone in awe, but of course, he was humble about it, saying, "I was able to get my hands and feet in good position and secure the catch and come down with it," unquote. In the end, Brown had 2 touchdowns on the night, which makes 5 touchdown catches in the last 2 games. He ended the game with 10 receptions for 169 yards. Le'Veon Bell also had a pretty nice game with 12 receptions for 88 yards and 20 carries for 95 yards. Final score was 31-28, improving the Steelers to 9-2. Looking ahead, the Steelers will play at Cincinnati on December 4th.
Delaney, should the Steelers be worried about their slow starts headed into Cincinnati next week?
Well, any team really does need to worry about slow starts, but I think the key goal to this team is just coming out big from the get-go. They need to start strong and stay strong throughout the entire game, and that's really going to help them in the long run and help them come out with a win against Cincinnati.
And Antonio Brown.
Yes.
You got to talk about him. The catches that this guy makes.
They're insane. The thing about Pittsburgh sports that has me right now, with the Penguins and the Steelers, off to these slow starts, and then come the third quarter, third period, they go off. So why do they put us through this?
Well, why get off to a good start when you can finish it later?
Right.
Whatever. We're getting later in the show, so let's forget about our start, which was good, by the way, and continue up with that good streak. We have Kiera Fry in studio to discuss what's going on with national sports. Let's head it over. Let's throw it over to Kiera. What is happening around the world, Kiera?
Last football season, Colin Kaepernick started the Take a Knee protest, and they have continued into this season and gotten a great deal of attention, especially from President Donald Trump. In his latest criticism of the NFL and players' protests, Trump disagreed with keeping teams in the locker room during the national anthem and tweeted, quote, "That's almost as bad as kneeling," end quote. This tweet came shortly after the Washington Post published an article about the possibility of NFL owners changing the anthem policy for next season. According to the Washington Post, if protests continue through the remainder of the season and continue to be controversial among fans, the issue will be addressed in the offseason and a policy change could be possible. Some NFL owners believe that having players stay in the locker rooms during the playing of the national anthem could be that change, although there have not been official detailed discussions about such a policy change. And on Sunday, Alabama University played 3-on-5 against Minnesota after their entire bench was ejected and almost won. Alabama lost its bench during the second half when players left the designated bench area engaging in a brawl. Alabama was down to 4 players after Dazon Ingram fouled out, and only 3 remained after John Petty was injured. The remaining 3 players fought hard, only losing to Minnesota by 3 points. According to Bleacher Report, Alabama actually outscored Minnesota 30-24 with only 3 players in the final 10 minutes of the game.
That's unbelievable. And you watch the highlights of that, and you see it in hockey, and there was a hockey rink underneath the arena that they were playing at. But Kiera, how was Alabama able to outscore Minnesota with just 3 guys?
I think it had a lot to do with Colin Sexton being still on the court, because if he wasn't, I don't think it would have went that well for them. He definitely led them. He scored, I believe it was 40 points in that game by himself, and I think that he just encouraged the other 2 players that were left to continue fighting and not to get discouraged by there only being 3 of them left on the court.
Still unbelievable to me. I don't know how they did it. Like you said, it's not hockey.
It's wild.
Thanks, Kira, though. Coming up next, it's time for Cases of the Week.
Our reporters will debate the college football playoff matchups and make their predictions for who will win it all next on the Pioneer Sideline.
You'll ever do. 2 can be as bad as 1. It's the loneliest number since the number 1.
I love you more.
I love you more.
Tried, okay?
I swear, you can never do anything right. You're such a sorry sack of... Sweetie, tell me this will last forever.
Of course, babe.
I swear, living with you is like living in a nightmare. Can't even look at your ugly face. I'm sorry. Babe, can we just put this all behind us? All water under the bridge?
Good evening and welcome to Newsnight. I'm Josh Troop alongside Jess Paterchak.
Defending his decision to kick out 15 Cuban diplomats from the United States.
Thanks, Allison. Fitness on Demand has returned to Point Park.
Residents fear that Mount Agung will have a repeat of 1963's eruption.
2-star NFL quarterbacks made the headlines this week after wrapping up.
Thank you so much for joining us this evening. That's your news tonight. For Nick Tomarello, I'm Alex Grubbs. Have a great night.
Welcome back. College football conference championships will take place this weekend, finalizing the 4 teams in the college football playoff.
To discuss the playoffs, we have joining us in studio Megan Masiosi and Mike Turk.
Guys, a wild weekend, and I think this weekend has the potential so far to top it. We'll get right into it. Mike, who are your 4 teams, 1, 2, 3, 4 in the college football playoff? Save your 1 champion for later. Who are the 4 teams you have?
You just want my 4 without an explanation first?
Just give me your 4 to start off. Yeah.
All right, I have, in no specific order, I have Auburn, Oklahoma, Wisconsin, and Clemson.
I also have the 4 of them as well.
Okay.
So,
okay, now let's get into
There's no debate there then.
No, I don't think that's
with
a debate.
those 4 teams. Wait, both you have Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so I'll challenge you on Wisconsin, because you watch the TV shows and the pundits all have all these scenarios they're working out where Ohio State wins, and I don't think anyone's given Wisconsin a chance. They're undefeated still. Why does Wisconsin get in over OSU?
Well, 12-0. They still got that goose egg on the right side of their column. They beat teams like Iowa and Michigan so far. And, well, it's really... I could be wrong. After I watched them play this weekend against Ohio State in that championship game, it's going to be interesting to see. But I really think Wisconsin can come out as the underdog in this one.
I think their defense is better than what it was last year.
Yes.
Just today it was released that 12 of their players 12 of their defensive players earned the All Big Ten honors today. So to me, defense always wins championships. And I think you're going to see that against Ohio State. I think it's going to be one of their more tougher teams they're going against. And if they can beat them, then I feel they're going to stay up there.
So people are talking about how can Alabama not be in this?
Alabama shouldn't have lost.
That's
there we go.
No. I'll go against that. Jalen Hurts against Jarrett Stidham. There's no contest. I'm taking Jarrett Stidham every time. Jalen Hurts has, no pun intended, hurt Alabama these past few years, I believe. He's not he's a decent college starting quarterback, but I'm not a Jalen Hurts fan whatsoever.
I mean, Alabama, when they lost to Auburn, that play calling, I don't know if you watched or not, but or at least some of it, but that play calling was all over the place. It kind of reminded me of what happened in the Super Bowl last year, the Falcons, when everyone was like, why aren't they running the ball to kill the clock?
Right.
That's kind of how this game was as well. And I think play calling and injuries piling up in the defense is why Alabama's not in the top 4 and won't get in the playoffs.
Yeah, I'll agree with you on that. Alabama's always been a run first. They've had Derrick Henry, Mark Ingram in the past, and Nick Saban just loves to run the football. I'll agree with you on that. They don't like the pass.
Yeah, and Saban can't beat a good Clemson team. That's been
exactly.
his one. And he's like, oh, we should still get in. Anyways, your champions. I hope you don't have the same champion. Who is your one
so.
on top?
No, we talked
All
earlier.
right, cool.
We don't. I have Clemson and Wisconsin in the championship game.
Okay.
And who wins?
I have Wisconsin winning.
I have Auburn and Oklahoma. I'm going with the offenses. And did you just pick your winner?
Yeah,
you picked
Wisconsin.
Your winner. I'm going with the War Eagles, baby. War Eagles, Auburn, 2-loss team making the playoff. They're not the War Eagles, they're Tigers. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was like,
but they say
Eagles,
War
they're
Eagles, though. Not the War Eagles. I apologize for that. But I'm going with Auburn.
So you pick Wisconsin, which some people are debating that shouldn't even get in, which, I mean, we
They're
both talked about
they're
they're undefeated, they're 12-0. Let me finish. But why is Wisconsin going to go all the way, let alone make it in?
Like I said, defense wins championships. We've seen this in so many Super Bowls in the pros. So, and I think bringing it on the college level is even better. I mean, Clemson, it's really hard to repeat, even though, we've had a couple of those that happen this year. I really feel it with Wisconsin this year. Everyone's counting them as the underdog. I love the underdog. I'm going with defense. That's why.
Oklahoma makes it in. Why? And why do they lose?
Well, sometimes when you have a Heisman candidate, possibly the front runner for it in Baker Mayfield, I know he's a cocky guy. We all know. We see it in there. But, hey, he's fun to watch, though. You can't deny it. He has a cannon of a right arm. And Auburn, I think Auburn's just too good, especially late in the season. They lost to only LSU and Clemson. They were both ranked opponents. And then they beat Georgia, who was number 1. And then 2 weeks later, they beat Alabama, who was number 1. That's why I really like Auburn catching a head of steam here going into the playoffs.
They brought his jersey out to the 50-yard line like he was dead. He was just suspended for a couple plays.
I thought the same
Get out
thing.
of here.
Yep.
Okay, why is she wrong real quickly, and why is he wrong just at 1 point?
Yeah, Wisconsin's 12-0, I know, and that is impressive. Don't get me wrong. It's hard to go like that. They have a good defense, and they can run the ball, but sometimes you got to be able to pass that ball as well, and I cannot see Wisconsin doing that and winning a game.
I get that Auburn has beat the number 1 teams the last couple of weeks, but I think it's going to go to their head a little bit. They're a little younger than Wisconsin, and defense, that defense is incredible. I think they're really going to hurt next year when they lose most of them. So this is kind of like, this is your 1 year to go and win. That's why Wisconsin's going to win.
And we try to predict it. But wow, this weekend could flip everything upside down. I mean, after this weekend, Wisconsin might not even get in. After this weekend, we could have a whole...
People never know with college football. There's always that one surprise. And I feel like it's going to happen, and we'll see who it is.
And with college football, it's all about that one person that keeps you together. For us, that is Lizzie. Lizzie back there. It's her 21st birthday. Round of applause for Lizzie. Thank you so much for all you do for the Pioneer Sideline, directing and technical directing. You don't see her on the show, but man, she keeps us together. She's our quarterback if we ever had one. Well, that is all the time that we have for this week. Let's see what 4 teams, like we said, will eventually make it into the college football playoff and who we just gave the kiss of death to.
Join us again next week at the same Pioneer time.
The same Pioneer channel.
And the same Pioneer Sideline.